Welcome everyone, I am Friar Tuck. This is my epoch. And before I get into today's topic, I gotta tell you one thing that you have to deal with out here is that you get a lot of noise, and some days there's so much noise that you will literally just you'll blow a gasket just because you can't deal with the noise. For example, I come down here along the river. It's generally really peaceful, really quiet. As you hear that buzzing usually stops right around 5:30. Okay, that buzzing, which is people going over the bridge, it's like been non-stop, and it's like, come on, this is now the most busiest bridge in all of Cincinnati, and all of a sudden your anxiety and your frustration goes up. This is why sometimes you'll see the homeless. They'll just snap at you, and you kind of got to look at them and go, okay, that's just a moment. You don't really know all of what's going on. It's just sometimes it's like you get overwhelmed with so much stuff that you're just like, I can't take it anymore. I got the drunks and the loud, obnoxious assholes over here, and then I got to listen to this bridge, and I can't get a moment of peace. It doesn't matter where I go in a city unless I'm inside four walls, and even inside four walls, you don't even get any peace, which is really, really sucks because, poor building, they make the walls paper thin so you can hear your neighbor fart. It's just, and it's like, dude, will the noise stop? And after a while, and so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is my anxiety, my frustration is kind of so wound tight right now because I can't seem to find a quiet place in this godforsaken city, and I can't wait to get the hell out of here. I can't wait to get around some peace and quiet. So, that's just to kind of tell you guys a little bit what I'm dealing with and why you guys get to hear this obnoxious hum in the background, because for some reason everybody and their mother decided to start using this bridge today. And it's like, any other day of the week nobody would use it, but all of a sudden today they decide to use it. And it's that one day where I would like some frickin' peace. So anyways, guys, I understand what's going on here. So let's talk about this. I mean, I'm hoping you guys can get over this. I lost a piece to my selfie stick, so that means I can't use my microphone. It means I can't put my camera on a tripod. I don't know what the hell happened to it. I keep track of my stuff, and that's why last night didn't turn out as well as I wanted to. And then I got to listen to the video, and I'm like, nobody's gonna listen to this because there's so much background noise. This is how loud cities are. You guys are so used to listening to videos that are in a noise-controlled environment, but when you're outside, there is no noise control. You get no ability to get outside, no ability to get to a point where you could have nothing but peace and quiet for 5 minutes. And here's the thing, it's so loud out here that when you finally do, because a couple of weeks ago, I got one of those moments where it was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. But the thing is because it's so loud out here, my ears are ringing. And so instead of being able to enjoy the peace and quiet, what ended up happening is just my ears rang the whole time because it's so damn loud out here in these cities. And then they design these cars, and they're like, here, let's see how loud we can make this car, how obnoxious we can make it. And you know what? When you've got four walls and you can pay for that peace, that's great. But for those of us that have to be out in it every day, I'm telling you, this is part of the reason why you see some homeless snap. So we're going to be talking about today because I wanted to give people enough time to show up, and I kind of wanted to just vent for a moment because I'm just, again, it's just like everything's kind of piling up, and you have these moments out here, and this is the realistic part of what goes on out here is you're gonna have those moments where something's gonna get to you. You just haven't had your peace. You're running yourself into the ground or whatever it may be, and you get to that point and you snap. And for you, if you're a prepper, prepping for SHTF and prepping for bugging out, this is part of the psychological obstacles that you will have to endure when you have to go long distance when you're traveling. Now, when you're in the woods, it's nice, it's peaceful, it's quiet, it's easy to get balanced. But the second you go into a city, you go through a city, especially after being out in the woods, all of a sudden it's like everything got turned up to like maximum volume, and it's so overwhelming that it becomes hard to actually deal with. But anyway, so now that we've got some people here, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and say something. I believe that chat is on. Don't forget to hit that like button, help me out in the algorithm. So what are we going to be talking about today? Is the dollar dead? Has the dollar finally collapsed? And I was watching a live stream by the Economic Ninja. See, again, the obnoxious cars. So frequencies, noise pollution, poison food, those are many vectors, menaces. Yes, Erica, that is true. And we're not supposed to be dealing with this level of noise. I mean, that's why, what was it, Nelson Mandela or Manuel Noriega, we played the Spice Girls outside and did like psychological warfare on them. What was it? It was down in South America. It was one of the last things Bush did before he left office, if I remember correctly. First Bush, not second one. And they they caught him by playing Spice Girls, if I remember right. That tends to be something, because if you don't have any peace, it will wear on you over time. But anyways, I was watching an article by Economic Ninja where he was talking about how I think it was a 5-year bond is they just raised it like over 20 basis points, and they still couldn't find enough buyers. The rest of the world has finally stopped buying US dollars, and it's finally starting to come home to roost. It takes a minute for buy orders to stop, for them to slow down, for everybody to change. Because if you remember, what was it, a year, maybe 2 years ago, China told their people, and I think even Russia told their people, stop buying US bonds, stop buying American currency. It's not going to be safe for long. And then we have this stuff going on with the BRICS, and you've got all these nations that are therefore trying to compete and get away from the dollar. Plus you have this massive inflation that's happening with the dollar. Nobody wants it, because the only thing we have left to export other than our dollar is the inflation that's attached to it, and the rest of the world can't keep up with it. You and I, we live off of thousands of dollars a month. The rest of the world lives off of less than $100 a month per person. In American or in Western currency, most of the world lives off of much less than we do, but the way our dollars go versus the way our dollars go overseas are much different. So I mean, this is something to definitely consider. So let's just say that you get some sort of government pension, whether it be public employee, whether it be like my old man, he gets his army retirement, you get your Social Security, you get your aging and disabilities, and you get all that stuff. Well, if they can't sell enough bonds, even though they're bound by contract to do it, at what point do they just start printing money and saying, okay, we've printed enough, or we can't get anybody to buy it, to assume the debt, so therefore we're just going to print. And then how long until that becomes worthless? Because just like with the Weimar Republic, it was the United States that found out that they were just printing money, because they were in a similar situation where we are now. Their financial epicenters were taken away by the Allies, as part of their spoils for winning the war, and they just left Germany the scraps and then split it into two. And well, that destroyed a country, and then on top of that, they had to pay back a massive war debt. And it was designed so that they couldn't pay it back. And a lot of people say that is essentially what caused World War II, was the actions that the Allies did to the German Empire. And we could very well see the very same thing here, because that led to the rise of Hitler. And Hitler was able to rise because we were in such economic downturns. It would be like Trump coming back on the floor. Instead of being elected for the first time in 2016, he gets elected for the first time in 2024. Okay, now imagine the amount of rhetoric and the amount of things that he is saying, that he is getting enough of the populist support in the same way that Hitler was able to get the populist support. Now, I'll answer that in a second, Cherokee. Now, am I dogging Trump? No. Am I praising Trump? No. I'm neutral on him. He was good for the economy. It's the economy, stupid. I'm surprised that he lost, but I'm not going to contest the election for various reasons. Now, do I think that he'll win? No, I think that he is destroying the Republican Party. But what he's doing within the Republican Party is, I think it's worse than what is going on within the Republican Party to begin with. So a lot of Republicans, a lot of people that call themselves conservative, who have ran away from the party, but still vote Republican because they don't know who else to vote for. Those are the people that Trump really has behind him. And then you have these hardline war hawks, fascists, government control, central control, and those are the guys that have been in there forever, and they want to keep the status quo, so they keep going with it so that they can maintain their own control, so that they don't lose their status in life, because that's their own personal benefit. Well, I mean, just there's a lot of stuff that's just kind of going along, and I think that Trump is ripping the Republican Party apart. We're seeing that play out with the speakership. Jim Jordan, who I figured would be a shoo-in, I really thought that Jim Jordan would have been the guy, especially considering he was backed by Trump. He was the one that broke the whole scandal with the FBI wiretapping him. I figured that Jim Jordan would be a shoo-in, but apparently not. And we don't know exactly what the Republicans want, or at least the ones that have the power, what they actually want. And I think what they're trying to do is to keep the status quo while giving the illusion that they're doing something. So, for example, and this is where I differ with the Coalition for the Homeless. This is where I've had somewhat of an intellectual debate with them on this, and a lot of this comes from like Epoch Times. They have their own YouTube channels, and there's one guy, I think it's called California Insider, and he did a whole expose on how this whole affordable housing thing is a scandal to begin with. And part of the reason why he was saying that it was this way was because they would say, okay, we're gonna build affordable housing, but they're gonna go over there and they're gonna build in some upper class period of town. Well, the poor man still can't afford to pay rent, and this new place that popped open, nobody that is really poor can really afford it. So therefore, did they really create affordable housing? No. What they did is they put a name on it that says it's affordable housing. They get to take money from a fund that is designed for affordable housing, but the housing is not affordable. It's just more affordable for those that can already afford to live there to begin with. And that is the real issue with affordable housing. So now in the newspapers that we're putting out, it's like, vote yes on 24, we need affordable housing. No, they're voting for it because it says affordable housing, not because it actually gives affordable housing. And I think that in the same way that I'm drawing the correlation there, I think the same thing goes on with Donald Trump. Or not with Donald Trump, but with the Republican Party, is that they're trying to get something to where they can brand it as rent control, or not rent control, but affordable housing, but still keep doing the status quo and still make their money and still do the same thing. So I think that's really what's happening within the Republican Party, is that you have enough of the populace that is not only informed enough, because the majority is no longer benefiting from what's going on in the world, and especially here in America. So since the majority are not benefiting, they're starting to ask questions, and they're starting to find out that they've been asleep at the wheel the whole time. And so now you have those people that are starting to hold their politicians to the fire, but you got to realize that they're also using rhetoric from Ontario. Hi, Antone. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm really bad with names. But it just with the Republican Party, I think that's the same thing that's going on inside of it. Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I mean, this is perfect time for you guys to step in and say something, but I'm using history to kind of show how we're repeating the same cycle over and over again. It's just a different time. So, Antoine, okay, Erica, thank you, much appreciated. So, and by the way, I got to say something. So I looked in my analytics the other day. 20% of you guys have my have the bell notification checked to notify of every time that I come up. So for those of you that have done it, I truly appreciate it. If you haven't done it, you might want to do it. If you haven't subscribed, you might want to subscribe as well, because sometimes I'm going to be, especially when I'm out on the road, I'm going to be randomly jumping on, so you want to be notified when I'm there. I usually kind of do about 5 to 10 minutes worth of filler before I start in on the subject. Okay, so why did I talk about this subject today? Because I think that a lot of the reason I'm from Ontario too, but leaving for Florida or Texas soon. You got to let me know if you're in Florida or Texas, because I got to stop by Texas to see my buddy, and I'm hoping to make Florida this year, or make Florida here in the next couple of weeks, because it's about to get cold. I mean, as soon as Halloween hits, Halloween is the last nice day here, and then it's just like this huge cold front comes through. I mean, we're talking about highs in like the 50s, okay, for the day, and in the 30s at night. It's going to be miserably cold here. It's been nice and warm here for the last week or so as we get the last little bit of October after having that cold spell, but man, I am not, it doesn't matter how prepared for you. It's just basically you're going to go from 70-degree highs to like 54-degree highs within a matter of a day or two, and it's just going to be absolutely crazy. So do any of you guys have questions about how I'm planning my travel, what my daily schedule is like, what it is that I do? Do you want to know little tips and tricks? Oh, and I got to tell you, if you are a subscriber over on Patreon, I accidentally screwed up on scheduling it. The video that got released today was supposed to be released on Monday, so you got the video a little bit early, just letting you know. So if you are a Patreon subscriber to the Hobo Tutorials, Monday's video is already up, and I will be doing another video the following week unless I am still on the road. Now, I plan on being gone between the 1st and the 15th. That is, so I got a 15-day window. Florida seems awesome. Petersboro on Canada stuff, yo. Hey, what up, just a guest. But I'm gonna end up. I want to make sure that I got my ducks. Thank you, All American Prepper. I'm much appreciated. I think I may have seen your channel. You've got some good stuff over there, if it's what I remember. But just getting. I want to make sure that I do this right, because if I don't get it right the first time, then I really suck at this. And oh, Erica, thank you very much, appreciated. If something happens to where, I don't want to be the dumb guy on the rails. That's really where I want to be. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be the moron that gets caught his first time. Hey, Paranoid, did you get the videos I sent you? And so, oh, by the way, if you guys want to come over to my website, the link is down in the description. If you come over there, there is a chat function, so that if you guys want to chat with me, because it's connected to my Facebook Messenger through the Hobo Prepper, or no, the Epoch of Friar Tuck. So I did change the name over there. And anyways, it will connect you to me, and then if you want to do chat messages, like to check in on me or see if I need anything, whatever, you're more than welcome to do something like that. So I say, okay, yeah, I think I might have saw it. I was going to dinner about that time, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. That's kind of where the only spot that I can do. And so somebody was telling me that the reason why I want to get off it every time the train comes to a stop or slows down is because it's coming into a rail yard and I'm supposed to go around. So that makes sense. Because I was trying to figure out, why would I want to get off and then get back on? And then getting to talk about it. It is what it is. So, but one of the things that I'm hoping that if I get good enough at this, because just like getting on trail, it took me a minute to get acclimated. Once I got acclimated, I really tried to improve my overall skill level on trail. Same thing with doing Greyhound. I had, over the years, I have, spent a lot of time being efficient with how I use Greyhound. It used to be back in the day, if you buy your ticket 2 weeks in advance, you can You're fine, just don't overthink it. I probably will the first couple of times just because I'm paranoid. Again, I don't want to be stupid, and I want to be alert. So because until I get comfortable knowing what I'm doing, I'm going to be extra cautious, extra careful. That's why I'm leaving such a large window. And then I don't know, I have one more thing I have to figure out. I'm paranoid. Maybe you can help me figure this one out. So there is, if you go over to the other side of the river, which is Kentucky, okay, there's a junction where it just goes, it goes straight or it goes left, which I believe would be going east. I can't tell whether that is just a tributary and going straight it goes south, or if going straight is a tributary and it has to go left in order to keep going. And so it's going to go more of a southeasterly direction versus a just a southerly direction. I want to be able to go as much south as possible, and Kentucky and Tennessee are two states that I really want to avoid as much as possible. So, but they may actually be pretty good. But anyways, do you guys have any questions for me? I see some people are kind of jumping out. Sorry, I have questioned, during economic collapse, rich people buy gold and silver. What do hobos rely on if money worth nothing? Tobacco? You know what, Erica or Alex, and by the way, welcome to the Patreon community, Alex. Okay, so you got to look at it like this. Everything is tradable, all right? So yes, cash is king. So if you have cash, but that depends upon who you're working. That's why I said something about GPS. Let's figure out where your jump is. Okay. All right. I will go back and look at what you sent me. That way I can have that stuff ready for you before the weekend's out. And in that way we can work on it together. But as far as the way things go, everything's tradable. Somebody has a lighter, that's tradable. You can trade it for cigarettes, you can trade it for other things. Food is tradable. Anything that is consumable that somebody needs on a daily basis is tradable. I had somebody buy a couple of carabiners off of me. I paid $3 or $4 for the pack of 2 and sold them for $5 a piece. I told the guy that they were $4 a piece and he paid me $5 a piece for them, because I didn't want to get rid of them. But again, you got to realize that you, in your head, you have to automatically be doing a markup. So I paid this much for it. This is how much I want to get for it. Sleeping gear. Sleeping gear is going to be really important. Like being out, like a good backpack you could get good for. Charging cables. Oh man, you want to talk about, if you go to hotels, like somebody on the channel said, are you experiencing theft of your belongings out there? How do you keep yourself safe? No, I haven't had my stuff stolen. If anything, I am my own worst enemy, and things fall out. Like I lost the shoe for my tripod, which kind of sucks. I will get the road train, road atlas, if I recall. It states of like 2 stops. Like the video is a timestamp show from shoestring. Anyways, okay, yeah, we will definitely do that. I'll make sure to comment that out later. But as far as theft goes, no, I don't really deal with it. But I also, if you guys have been listening to me and what I've been saying over the last couple of days is, you should always be on the move. Don't just stay in one place. Let's see. With the exception of when I'm sleeping in a group, and that's because I have group security, group safety, I don't sleep in the same spot more than 2 or 3 nights. And then I move on to another spot, and then I sleep 2 or 3 nights, and then I move on to another spot, and then I sleep 2 or 3 nights. And I do that because you don't want people to know where you're at. Because when you get into that deep sleep, I mean, I roll off my sleeping pad all the time. If I wasn't in the area that I'm at, if I didn't choose a low traffic area, man, somebody would walk off with my sleeping pad, my backpack. But everything with the exception of my sleeping bag and whatever I have in it, which is my cell phone, and that's pretty much it. So in the middle of the night, because when you get into that deep sleep, if you don't get that deep sleep, you are screwed. And again, being in the group, because you have people that are getting up at different times of the night, you always have eyes, every so often. But when you're by yourself, to keep your gear safe, you always put you try not to you want to try not to roll around as much. I tend to toss and turn a lot. I've almost ended up in the middle of the street a couple days ago, just from rolling, because the ground doesn't bother me, and my sleeping pad, I make sure it's about as hard as the ground anyways. It's just there for warmth. But sleep, put your head on your bag, make sure that you have everything packed away, that you have everything compact. If I hadn't have sold my carabiners, actually what I was thinking about last night, I was kind of upset that I sold my carabiners, is that I would actually be attaching one to my backpack and one and the other end to a string on my sleeping bag, so that somebody would have to, they would pull me along with it, and it would cause a deterrent and be like a big enough bell ringing. So that's something that you might want to consider when protecting your gear, is that you want to be able to have something, have a system set up so that if somebody does walk, how do you feel about fishing? You can ride up to Alaska, get a job make more cash on the boat, a ton of train rides. You know what, I've been offered, when I was in Seattle, I was offered to go do that, and yes, I know that they make a lot of money, and I think that this year, the Dungeness crab, they couldn't harvest them this year, or was it last year? I know that a lot of fishers didn't get to go to work last year. It's not something for me. That's just one thing that I don't want to. Because here's the thing, you get thrown off that boat, and I'm pretty good on my feet. I'm really good on my feet, just because, being in school, I was a nerd or a geek, and kids used to try and trip me and stuff like that. So I got good at keeping on my feet. But there are some times when, if the boat's rocking, because I used to be part of a row club when I was in middle school. When that boat gets to rocking, especially if you got like high waves and stuff like that, you get thrown off there. As soon as you get thrown in the ocean, you're dead. You're gone. There's no coming back from that. At least from the stories that I've heard and that I was told, and that was kind of what really deterred me. And I was even thinking, like, what's deterred me from rails all these years? Because I've had many opportunities to ride rails. The kids that gave me the name Friar Tuck, they were rail riders. They had taken a rail from Daytona Beach, which I was there this last year, all the way to Portland, Oregon, which is where I met them. And they rode rails. I could have gone with them and rode rails with them, but I didn't. I've had a couple other times where I've had some opportunities where I could. And one of the big reasons why I was turned off from riding rails is because I would see a lot of the kids come in. They are dirty, nasty, destructive. Okay, now I'm not talking about dirty as in their clothes are dirty. Well, what do you expect? No, what I'm talking about is like when they come into the Portland rail yard, because we slept right by where a jump spot was. The kids would get off. They were tweakers, and so they would trash the area. They'd be up and just have all kinds of partying and whatever else. And then, after a few days of partying and getting as much money as they could panhandle, they'd hop on the train and go on to the next one. And I saw that, and it gave me such a bad image of rail riders, even though I had seen a couple that were, I was sleeping in a group with a couple that were, perfectly fine rail riders. So it just, I wasn't sure I wanted to deal with that. And so that just that was a lot of what deterred me from it. That, and I just never had anybody to show me the ropes. What you guys have shared with me in the last few days has helped me understand. You're in Portland, Oregon right now. I'm not that far away from you. I grew up in Portland. I'm not in Oregon anymore. I left the state in 2017 because of how woke even the justice system was back then. You can get convicted on hearsay, and if you don't want to take their pre-conviction, then they will keep you in there as long as possible until you submit, or they have no choice but to let you go. If you really want to be a freedom fighter, that's a place to go. I will tell you that much. Will you ever go to Texas if it gets that bad? No, Texas is there's a war going on at the border. What are you talking about? That's why I lost my business. I will go to Texas to see my buddy. And I might come to Texas to visit some subscribers, because again, if I like this Rails as much as I do, and I get good enough at it, proficient enough, I'm going to start setting up meeting spots of, hey, if you're within this area, come see me. I'm going to be here for a few days. We can hang out. We can do things as a group. If you guys want to come out, meet me, shake my hand, have a bowl with me, whatever. You guys will have that opportunity. But one of the things, I will be avoiding the West Coast as much as possible, including Washington. Coming back to my question about cashless times, what about hygiene products, rubber gloves, soaps, skills, fixing, sewing tools? Yes, think of it like the Middle Ages. Back in the Middle Ages, there was no major production. Okay, you had little shops within a community that would make your thread. You had your shops that would do your meat, your smithing and stuff like that. But they traded their skills and their wares. Put it to you like this, Alex, and I hope that this answers your question. When we first started out as a civilization, we started out on the barter system. I gave you something, you gave me something. I gave you beads, you gave me seashells, okay? Because I liked your beads, I couldn't get your beads, you had your beads, I couldn't get seashells. You see what I'm saying? Okay, then we moved into trading, using like seashells, like in the all the way up until the 1200s, I believe, which is when China stopped being a superpower. They were using seashells. Well, the thing is there becomes such an abundance of seashells that it caused the market to collapse because anybody could go out and get them, so on and so forth. And so what they did is they switched to gold and silver, which then became legal tender. All of this works down into the same thing, whether you're doing barter or whether you're doing it for cash money, okay, is that everything that you do has a monetary value attached to it. The things that you say, the way that you think, the actions that you take, the skills that you have, the resources that you have procured. Everything has value. To me, it may not have value. I don't need this, but I need that, okay? And it becomes finding somebody to actually take it. Now, where cash comes in, that allows it to be better system than barter, is the fact that I don't need to worry about giving you a bead for a seashell, because you will give me $1 for my bead, okay? And so therefore I can go and get something else that I want, which allows more of a flow of goods and services along the way. But once that goes away, it's still going to revert back to the lower forms, which means we're going back to barter, we're going back to trade, we're going back to what's called the free market. Now, America originally started out on the free market. There will be people that say, no, we did not. Yes, we actually, is that guy gone though? Which guy? So, sorry, gloves on. Sorry guys, my brain ain't working too well. I missed part of that conversation, or I wasn't paying attention to what I said. Sorry. All right, take a deep breath, slow down for a second. Road Dog from the last video. Oh yeah, no, he's around here somewhere. He ain't leaving till the 15th because he wants money from his parents, and so that's when I told him I'm sorry. I don't really think that that's something that I can wait around for. I may end up leaving before him. And then he wanted me to give him half of everything that I earned, and I'm like, screw you, no way. I'm not giving up what I've worked very, very hard to develop. just so that somebody can live off of my labor. I've had that happen enough in life that now I'm to a point where I want, and this is something that maybe I'm different, but when you're a productive person, especially somebody who is dedicated to the work that they do, a lot of what ends up happening is other people get rich off of your work and you really get very little to nothing in return. Okay, and when with that happening, eventually you get to a point where, like, stay focused, no pressure, we just want to hear your thoughts. Yeah, no worries, Erica. So it's just I'm glad you guys are patient with me, I gotta say that. Okay, but switching subjects. As far as everything goes, I would love to come around the country and meet you guys. I really would, just to shake your hands, because I'm tickled pink that people think that I'm interesting. That I am. I mean, I am interesting enough that 7 people want to have a conversation with me online while I'm recording myself. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, I never thought of something like that. Bushcraft, you didn't miss much, and plus you'll have the replay for it, and that's good. But as far as the notifications, Bushcraft, I'm not sure if I said something about it, but even videos that I usually get notifications for, I don't get notifications for anymore. I think if you go so long without watching them, like, because I don't watch all of Ryan Hall y'all's videos, and so because I don't watch them all, it stopped sending me the notifications unless it was like a big one that was like really popular. So that's that. So because it's getting to the point where it's getting dark out here, I want to show you guys the bridge. You guys deserve a good view. How do you usually barter? You have some personal, psychological... Oh, yes. Okay, hold on a second, Alex. I will answer that here in a minute. I got back spasm. But what do you think? Beautiful bridge, huh? Yeah, that's going to be what I miss most. I like this bridge. It's pretty. And as you see, the noises died down finally. So as you notice my thing. How do I barter? Okay, so I learned how to barter in San Francisco. Okay, and I would go into Chinatown, and this is one of my favorite pastimes. I love bartering. I actually had to barter with somebody the other day because he wanted my dollar and I wanted what he had, but I wasn't willing to pay the price, and I took him for as much as I possibly could. Okay, so this is the fun part about it. Okay, so you go into Chinatown, you see a bag, and they have this bag, and they have it at $10, and you're like, that ain't. If you're smart, you know that the Chinese double everything because they expect you to come in and haggle them. If you pay full price in a Chinese shop, you're a moron. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong, but because I walk in, I'll give you $5. No, I want 7. I'm like, no, I'll give you 5. No, I take 6. And you say, no, I'll give you. You say, I'll give you 5. No, I want 6. Because they're trying to get as much from you as they can, and you're trying to get it for as little as possible. What you do at that point in time, once you reach that headway of like, okay, this is as low as they're willing to go, this is high as you're willing to go. If you really think that you got it and you can push the envelope, you turn around and you take a step, and then but before your second step is planted, they'll be like, okay, $5. That is how you haggle. Okay, this is that After I got to do that in Chinatown, I had so much fun. Buying and selling things it's so much more entertaining if you know what you're doing. So for example, yesterday, I had a couple of dollars left over. Bartering was norm in the South Korea as well. That makes shopping much more fun. Yes, it is. But so last night, yesterday before the live stream, this guy, he's like, I'm like, you got a cigarette for sale? I got $1 for 2 cigarettes. Well, I got this one cigarette, and I'm like, no, that cigarette's broken. I don't want a broken cigarette. I'm not gonna waste a paper. I can go roll one myself. He says, oh, well, okay. Well, he pulls out another cigarette and he puts his finger right on the edge so that he can cover up the fact that it had already been lit. And I'm like, he's like, well, here, how about this? And because he wants my dollar, because my dollar for him equals dope, and so therefore he wants that dollar because he wants his dope. So I'll get to that in a second, Paranoid. So anyways, he's like this. I'm like, no, that's been smoked. No, that's been smoked. I said, I tell you what, you give me that, and you give me the broken cigarette, and I'll give you $1. So I ended up getting my 2 cigarettes. One was broken, one was tiny bit smoked, but for $1 I got 2 cigarettes. It was considering sometimes, depending upon out here, depending upon who you go through, cigarettes can be worth as much as $1, all the way down to 50 cents. So, okay, so just an idea, when I was younger, traveled around the old fire watch towers, train, went to these places to live. This would be combined with the hobo life and trail. Oh, that sounds interesting. And I just got a message for you. Thank you for the bartering tutorial. I can't barter with shit. I'm sure I could save. You know what? You just got, yeah, Alex, I'm glad you found that funny. Erica, you really, this is something that, I don't know, it takes a minute, but the thing is have fun with it. When I go in there and I see that bag for $10, I think $5, I'm like, I don't want the bag. But if I can get that bag for $5, I want that bag. Sure, not a problem. I'll take that bag for $5. So therefore, that's how you get started. Because once you get the thrill and the rush from that, you'll walk out, you'll just like be giggling, like I'll jumping up and down and clapping and being all happy. I'm like, yay, me! Okay, because you just bartered. You're not bartered. You just haggled, and you got something for the best deal possible. Do you realize that all prices at the store are negotiable? They like to get you to think that they're not. But see, here's the thing: when the store can raise the price on you when you show up to the register. It can be a different price than what they show. It's what it rings up at is the final price. They can get away with that in the same way that you have the right to get away with the fact that you can barter with them on price. But usually the managers and all the people, because of large corporations, they don't have the ability to barter like that. And it also erodes trust. If the price posted does not match the price at the register, it tends to cost you business. Otherwise, businesses would be taking full-on advantage of it. But they don't, because it would cost them more to do something like this than it would just to honor the price that they posted. Okay, so but Erica and Paranoid and Alex and Bushcraft and Cherokee, I am glad that you guys showed up today. Before I close out and start asking you guys for other things, if you guys have any other questions, ask it now, because I'm gonna go ahead and start closing up. So you guys know how to help the channel, become a subscriber. Everything else is down in the description. Everything from Patreon, which has got my hobo tutorials. I did, for those of you that wanted to know how to roll a cigarette, that's what I did. Now, because I'm using YouTube as my background, YouTube put an age restriction on it. Okay. Hey Jess, nice to see you. What's the most tradable skill in the hobo community? Tradable skill within the hobo community, like from one hobo to another. It would have to be scavenging. Yeah, it would have to be scavenging. That's probably the most. That's why Puckett was successful the way he was. That's why Puckett doesn't want to leave, because he scavenges everything. Everybody needs stuff. Hey, I need a battery bank. I need this, I need that, I need a power cord, I need this, okay? Procuring food, no, not out here, because you can go get it from all kinds of places. People won't trade you out here in the hobo world and in homeless life. Food's the one thing you don't sell. If somebody's hungry, you feed them. You don't sell it. You don't trade it. You just don't do that. It's not very classy. People you will have people that will come by and say, "Are you hungry?" Because sometimes you're not able to get to a food line, or some guy's so twacked out he doesn't know where to go, what to do, or he's new in town, doesn't know where to go. You hungry? Here's some food. Okay, that's how you make friends. You do not sell your food. whatever you do not sell your food. If you do something like that, you will get negative pushback over time. People will not people will not tolerate that. So that's what I got to say about that. But anyways, guys, the Monday video is already out early, so if you want to see how to roll a cigarette, now you can get a 7-day free trial if you want a 7-day free trial. Otherwise, it's $10 a month. I think it's worth it. If you don't think it's worth it after doing the 7-day trial, send me an email and tell me what you think that I could do that would make it worth $10 a month to you. Thanks for the answer. Do more videos about scavenging. Good luck. I'm gonna have to, because that seems to be the popular topic because of what it is. What I may have to do is find an actual scavenger, because I mean, I scavenge along the way, but it's not something that I do with intent. Okay, so, but anyways, if you're not a subscriber, become a subscriber. Hit that bell notification. Everything else down in the description. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be my last video because on Friday is when I got to sell it. I bet the best skill is friendship. That is probably the most coveted thing, to find a real friend out here. But that means somebody that's not going to ask you for something all the time. That means somebody that's going to help you out without asking. That means somebody that is going to trust, that you can trust, and somebody that can watch your stuff and you watch theirs. But anyways, tomorrow is going to be my last live stream day for the week. I want to go dark while I do this. So if you were planning on sending me money for my trip and stuff like that, because I know a couple of you talked about that, tomorrow night's going to be the night you're going to want to do it, because Friday is when I'm supposed to sell my sleeping bag, and I should be going to get a new one, and then by the time I get done with that, it'll be dark. And so and between tomorrow night and the 15th is when I will be making my attempts. And when I get to a point where I'm safe enough on the rails where I can turn on my phone, I will take a picture and I will post it in the community tab. So keep an eye on the community tab. So I am going to get the, so for $35, I can get a 5-degree bag at Walmart, okay? Even if it goes down to, its comfort is 30, its critical is 5, okay? I mean, I can't ask for anything better than that. I'm not gonna be in colder temperatures than that, especially if I can be on the move. That's what I'm planning on. So as far as that goes, that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, and the thing is it'll actually fit my sleeping bag compartment and open up about 80% of my bag, because the sleeping bag right now is so big that it takes up 80% of my bag. So are they giving out coats yet? Not till November 1st. But I was able to get one early, and the one I got is pretty good. And I also got me a thermal, a really thick thermal. I will show it to you guys tomorrow if I remember, or if you guys ask. I will definitely show you. But yeah, I've got a thermal. I mean, I am geared up for if it gets really cold. I'm geared up for it. I can survive the cold. I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about it being wet, because that means it's slippery, and if it's slippery, it becomes more dangerous. And it's supposed to start raining like Friday through Monday. So okay, I was hoping you could find a raincoat. Oh, I got a poncho. If you look at the I'll post it in the community tab. I actually had some. I finally took it out of its packaging today, and it's big enough. It's a really nice poncho. It's like a little Red Riding Hood. You gonna go live just before I go? No, I will go live. Tomorrow is gonna be the last day that I do live, because after that, at any time I could be gone. So I don't want to advertise. So here's the thing, and I'll close with this. Here's the thing. I learned this in my gaming channel. So when I would live stream my desktop, because you would get to see my units and stuff in the game that I play. If you guys have been over to Gaming with Jason, you know what I'm talking about. And people would take that as a way to see where my units were, what I had in each city, what I was building, because I was showing this because I was doing tutorials. And well, they would take that and they would use that against me. So I learned an important lesson. When you get ready to go do something that you don't want people to know, you kind of just, you go dark, you go incognito. So I don't do that with on my gaming side anymore. I talk about it after the fact. I make sure that there's 3 or 4 days between the time I took the video of my screen and not, because I've had to learn that. And this is an important skill that you should learn as well, that everything that you're doing is being monitored at one point in time, okay? And if it's being monitored, then that means when you're going to do something that you don't want people to know about, you know, whether it be going to take a shit in the woods, you know, you make sure you go dark. Retro games are so expensive. Retro games. This is it's an online MMO, is what it is. So it's called Gaming with Jason is that channel, and that one is also monetized. So I'm doing well there. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow in the last live stream, and then we'll go from there. If you have any questions, write them down. I will be able to answer them tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow.